Well, good afternoon. I don't quite understand why I've got 2154 on here. Hmm. Oh nine of. I don't understand that. Different format. Might be an update in the software for all I know. Okay. The date. The end of the Earth Age. October 16th, 2046. Plus or minus 60 days. That date was given to us by a fellow who left us December 13th, 2023. His name was Doug Vogt, VOGT. He was a citizen of Colorado, and he wrote several books, including coming up with theories for the creation that we're living in. And I think he's actually quite right. And even though you may think his theory is advanced, I think it's a very rustic, basic conveyance of what's really going on. So what happens in 2046? The Earth recycles itself, and it recycles all of us on the surface as well. The oceans will absolutely disappear. All of these ruins that are scattered across the bottoms of these oceans right now will be on dry land. The survivors will be able to walk among those. The glaciers will take off once again. The Earth will have received an energizing and material from our sun of approximately 0.5% of its current mass. So we are at 100% mass today, and when this is done, the Earth will be 100.5% of current mass. So the Earth is growing. That's right, it grows, and it goes through growth pains, and it gives birth to a new world, birth to a new age, and it wipes out the old one. And we have been through 6 extinction level events, and we're still here. Our ancestors survived. That's why we are here. Except for us white folks, us pasty Aryan sorts, the people that the world loves to hate. It looks like we were placed here, but I don't know exactly when. It might be that we were placed here 6 Earth Ages ago, and we're in our 7th Earth Age. That's probably most likely because there's evidence that the earthy man, the Mongoloid man, has been on the Earth for a lot longer, approximately 1.8 million years. And in case you're wondering how many Earth Ages there have been, if you take a look at the Great Bang Theory, they're saying that the Earth's about 4 billion years old. And if you divide that with the year of the Lord, which is 12,068 years, there have been approximately 1 million days of the Lord on planet Earth. And so the Earth has been getting larger. And as it gets larger, the rate of spin, the rate of circling the sun, slows down a little bit. The year gets longer. But right before this day of the Lord, it speeds up. It speeds up in a way that ends up separating the mantle and the crust, and maybe even the core. Things come unlocked. The locks of the Earth come unglued. And during that period, continents sink and continents rise. So it's kind of a crapshoot, if you will, because nobody knows how it's going to go. But we do know this. It's almost always associated with a flood. The flood is water, and it's mud, and it's volcanic debris. Actually, it's debris of everything, and it's a lot of volcanic rock. Volcanic rock is often lighter than water and floats. The flotsam and the jetsam. And so most of us on the surface will be caught up in that wave, and we will die in it. We will perish in it. Okay. And the Earth is going to be getting really hot. It's going to go real hot. It'll feel like you're inside of an oven. And then she's going to start snowing. and it's going to snow for a long time. And the glaciers are going to come roaring forward. They're going to be rolling out so fast that they will sound like locomotives. They come forward very quickly during this event. It's not slow. It's not like an inch or two or a foot or two a year that they come rolling out. No, they come rolling out like railroad trains, just scraping across the surface of the earth. Nothing's going to stop them. Whatever's in their way will either be scrubbed from the face of the earth, pushed away, or it'll pretty much be destroyed. And the water of the oceans will be locked up in the glaciers. And it will keep snowing, and you'll have maybe 4,000 feet of snow. 1,000 feet of ice, easy. And the purification of the earth will have begun. And the earth will be at peace. And I really, truly believe that some of these hunches that I have are going to be proven to be accurate, but I won't be here to test those, to see those, and to be around to be informed of yes, you were right, or no, you were wrong. But some of you are going to make it through. But the main goal of this is to get your children across the finish line. Because it's going to take the youth, and strong youth, to survive this. It weeds out the weak. The weak are gone. So only the strong survive this, the strongest. And it could reduce us to as few as 10,000, maybe even 5,000 individuals across the whole planet. Or maybe we could end up with 5 million or 50 million. And some of the continents win, and some of them lose. But really, all lose. Because the oceans go washing across things. Not only the oceans, but the winds pick up speed. Because the earth is trying to maintain its balance, its equilibrium, as the ocean currents that have heated and cooled the planet in particularly dependable manners diminish, which is what's happening now. And so you will have the polar vortex. The polar vortex will be going down clear to the equator, maybe even down to the South Pole. I mean, it's just going to be a wild time. You're going to have jet winds. Jet stream is going to be so wicked fast. It's going to be really ridiculous to fly. Just forget about flying. Nobody's going to be flying. The crust of the earth is likely to crackle like crazy all over the place. Earthquakes will be going through the surface of the earth from one to the other. Now, there are several different scenarios on this. And all of this stuff does happen. It's all already happened. And most of this is in the Bible. And if you read the Bible carefully, you will discern that there are 6 different days of the Lord. And from what I can tell, Yeshua, the Messiah, who most of you want to call Jesus Christ, as if he had a first name and a last name, and a first name named after the god Zeus. I lost my train of thought. What I want to tell you and I want to assure you is although it's possible that we could nuke ourselves and we could blow the heck out of the place, if that's the case, I can assure you the earth will recycle itself in short order and clean up all of that stuff. The seawater and the oceans will neutralize the radioactivity. However, in North America, if we get nuked, it's going to be far more poisonous and toxic for longer because we let that jackass Elon Musk build dangerous batteries and put those in his cars. And once those batteries are irradiated, they become poisonous for hundreds of thousands of years, actually. So it's more poisonous and toxic than the actual nuclear weaponry, any facet of the nuclear weaponry. You irradiate the cobalt that we allowed that jackass to put in his bombing cars, his bomb machines, and they're going to be toxic for hundreds of thousands of years. So the North American continent, if we go down in a nuclear war, will be absolutely toxic for thousands of centuries. The devil and his children have made it much worse for all of us here. If, on the other hand, we succeed in delaying that sense of gratification of bombing the fuck out of the other son of a bitch, then maybe the earth will just go through its purification. And the earth has periodicity in these periods of purification. During some of these events, there is a layer of limestone, mostly pink, and limestone, light colored, laid down. And if you want to know what that looks like, you can go to the mountains in Arizona and the Grand Canyon. You can see the folds in the mountains. Each one of those layers didn't happen over a long period of time. They happened over about maybe 5, maybe 20 minutes. They were laid down in a flash, very quickly. And if you look at those, you will observe there's approximately 5 layers of sandstone, limestone, pink, yellow, white, light-colored stone, and then there'll be a dark layer of black basalt between those. So about every 6th time is a very wicked time. That's when the volcanoes pump their shit out into the atmosphere. They pump it out, and those people that have been cloud seeding, but that's nothing compared to the volcanoes will pump out, because there won't be any sunlight reaching the Earth's surface for some years, 3, 4, 5, 6 years, easily, as that cloud circles around the Earth and gradually precipitates and settles down. Now, we have had interventions before during these periods. Again, that's written in the Bible, and it's written in other traditions, in other languages. And so, last time, the earth was chaotic and a floody mess. Floody like it was bloody. It was a flooded mess. And the Spirit of the Lord hovered over the waters of the deep and terraformed the earth. Now, were those the wings of a giant bird, like maybe Tagalog? Like the Philippine tradition is? Like the Filipinos tell us? Or was that a spacecraft that was masterfully terraforming the earth and repopulating the earth with new species? It's a good possibility. There will be extinctions. There always are extinctions. And there is speciation, which is harder to understand, rather a mystery. And so those people that are facing the sun will be getting the brunt of the blast. However, it comes out the other side. And it may be worse on the dark side. For one, we know that the freeze is instant. It's flash freeze. Anything that's living gets frozen solid in maybe 4 minutes at the most. And if you want to avoid that, you've got to be underground. 14 feet is a good distance, but I'd want to go down a little bit further just to be safe. You'd be way below the frost line if you did that. And you're going to have to wait to heat yourself. You're going to have a way to get some energy so you can stay warm for a long time. Because the ice is going to stay for quite a while. And the people who go through this are going to be going through a rough time. It's not going to be any easy cakewalk for them. It's going to be very difficult. And according to the biblical record, which has been suppressed to a large extent, this particular set of books suppressed by the stupid-ass Protestants, of which I come from that tradition, they took this book out of the Bible. And it says clearly that at the end of the earth age, the earth's children are weaker. At the beginning of the earth age, the earth's children are stronger. Those people who survive are going to find they have superhuman strengths. It could be because of the gamma radiation that might transform them. It might actually augment them. It could be because they might have mastered themselves to the point where they have got far better controls over the systems that we have, the many systems that we are a balancing act thereof. Women have a harder balancing act. It's going to be rougher for them, and we're going to have to protect them if we're going to have any life beyond that event. So I just want to assure you that it's a race to the finish right now. Are these bastards on the planet going to genocide us, nuke us, do other horrible things to us? Or is the day of the Lord going to abruptly occur and the surface of the earth is going to be very rough for everyone? And it begins with the sun going nova. Not a micronova. This is a regular nova scheduled according to Yahweh. The way he set this universe up, it's on time, it's on schedule. 12,068 years. And so when it goes, it's because the sun has become irritated as we go through this part of the Milky Way, this part of our galaxy. The space dust, the gamma radiation, it collects on the surface of the sun and it irritates the sun. It coats up and shellacks the sun, irritates the sun, or we could say tickles it, and the sun blows. And of course it blows in all directions, but a little bit of that material hits the earth. And the earth changes, increases mass, changes speed. Of course, it is sped up during this entire time. It will slow down and start to lock into place. Now, the end of the Ice Age, and by the way, that nova was discovered by a Russian scientist in the 1800s. That's what his study was. Velikovsky, I believe was his name, if I remember correctly. And there was another Russian scientist who studied the endings of the Ice Age. And his determination was that it ended with a flick of flame from our sun would hit the earth and start the meltdown. And then it would be a gradual melting. It wouldn't be as instant and as violent, but when that stuff starts melting and the water starts pooling up on the surface of the ice and starts breaking through, the hydrologic currents are incredible. That's how we got the Grand Canyon. It didn't form over years. It formed over a few minutes. It was rather quick, and the ice actually got a hole in the bottom of the lake in the ice, and it flushed out the Grand Canyon, and the hole plugged up again, and the lake filled up again. They figured it filled up approximately 4 times and flushed out 4 times to create the Grand Canyon. Now, I can't imagine the force, the volume of water, the pressures involved in that to just carve that straight down. So that's not gradual erosion. That's like flash flood time. So I think I've covered that rather nicely, and I'm just going to stop this. I do not understand what the 2154 is at the top of this thing. That might mean I've got 24, almost 22 hours of recording available. So the format's changed on here for me. Doggone it. I get used to something and they change it up. So, what can I tell you? If you read the Bible, it's the yardstick to measure all other things. If you read other books, then go to the Bible to compare it against it to see how much validity this other source may have or may not have. And if you look carefully, and if you can get the old images up from early days of Google Earth, you'll see giant rectangular structures deep in the ocean. Obviously massive structures, and obviously not made by nature, but made by some intelligent beings. I don't think those folks have ever left here. I don't know what they are. But even our Congress demands to know what the hell's down there. And of course, the people in charge of this planet running it know and will not share that knowledge with them. So that's about all I can tell you today. It's 2025, December. You have until 2046, which is 21 years. A little less than 21 years, 20 years and 9 months perhaps, until the earth gives birth to a new age. And maybe there'll be a new species of human. Doug Vogt said that we needed to up our game, if you will. He said we needed to learn the structure of this universe and master it as a means of mastering ourselves and being able to raise ourselves up so that humanity can survive this change, this transition. And I'm going to tell you right now that the bad guys have been here through all these earth ages. And they've dug in every time, and they've come out on top every time. And they hide the truth from you because they don't want you to know about this. They don't want you preparing for it. And above all, they don't want you going after them. And they want themselves and their children to have the advantage on the other side of this big event of survival and the coming to power again. The Bible's quite clear. Most of them are going to be flooded out. And the others we're going to be, or rather our children and grandchildren, for probably a good 5 generations, we'll be hunting them down. Going into the earth, waiting for them to come out of the earth, looking for them and hunting them down everywhere, because we aren't going to want to go through this again. And we know that they will just genocide our children anyway. So it's a matter of, its purpose is survival. And right now, the evil one is throwing all of the races at us because we're the only ones that can take them on and take them down. They know that and they fear us. And these other races can help us if they would wake up. Actually, they could contribute marvelously to it, and they need to.